when you refine your power, it's mixed out with the temple. That's universal shame God told you it's a homosexual, really. Because you take a 5-pointed seed and cultivate it. Right?
Okay, so now he's going on what Shem God said.
Here's the premise though. Using refinement in your power, refinement is being defined by them, Shamgar particularly, as another synonym for culture. Not incorrect. In many ways, refinement is a synonym for culture. Because of that though, and because the even numbers in the supreme math are feminine, which I also agree with, in general, right? It's in general. Then that means that you're basically, if you speak about, this is what Shamgar was saying, if you speak and use refinement in your power, that child in the womb would literally become a female. That person outside of the womb would become a homosexual. That's not what he wrote though. That's what he's alluding to. So he's saying that outside of the womb though, you start using refinement, you get homo. Hold on, God.
That's what that is.
Now I'm just saying this. This is because it's not in Shamgar's plus lesson that if you just use refinement as an individual grown man out of the womb, that you just get gay. That's him saying that. That's him saying that. Now the illusion in the degree is that it would get there kind of because in the womb, the male seed would become feminine.
So he's using for refinement as a way
to feminizing if you use it in your power.
And you're taking the strength
because you're putting culture, which is a feminine degree, back into power, and it's all out of order. Which technically, the way he's describing it is out of order, and it's wrong. Here's the thing: when Shamgar was saying that, though, there is no science to that. Okay, using a certain word or anything like that isn't going to make your child gay in the womb. It doesn't change, or it doesn't change a male seed that got that Y chromosome, right? And we have now XY. We have a man. It's not going to change them into a XX. So it's like there's no science to that. It's all hyperbole and the context. And I'm like, yo, are you? These are things I discussed with him in person, and I said, you have to have more than someone else's understanding. Okay? Because when Sunnis bring something, I never brought knowledge me says. No one's ever heard that from me. Knowledge me wouldn't want me to teach like that. No one that I've ever taught has ever said, according to Sunni's doctrine. And mind you, I write a lot though, so you could do that if you want. You know what I mean? I'd rather somebody do that with music, but not with anything else. So
well, they say that according to Mega videos, I get that sometimes. According to Mega videos, right.
And it's so many viewpoints. How could you represent personally every viewpoint? It's impossible. The amount of viewpoints that you've shared.
Right.
So what I'm saying was this: like, I can't agree with what he's saying because what he's saying isn't what Shamgar wrote completely. It is what Shamgar alluded, but what Shamgar wrote wasn't scientifically sound. I can't teach that.
Okay, so the whole just to acknowledge what I do agree with. Like you take the refinement. If you're using refinement in the context of lessening or to weaken.
Yes.
In that sense. Okay, right. I agree.
But remember, right? When you talk about refinement, like refined flour and things like that, that is a lie.
Right.
No. That's actually a lie in food packaging. They know that they're diluting the food, but they're telling you they're refining. So they're actually using the word refined flours to tell you that they're powering it up.
Right.
But so they're using the word as bringing it greater. So they're actually using the word as a plus in the way that he would find it acceptable. But we know that the devil lies with his food, so it's actually not true. So he's using that as an example. That would be wrong too, because
right. But I'm saying, but if you use, when you're saying you're removing, in that sense,
right.
Okay.
Refinement means to remove? I never seen that.
No. There's a context in terms of like to remove and to break down into free.
Right, refining, strip away.
To free of impurity. So I'm taking like, you know, okay.
Freeing of impurities to make it greater though, so it's still a positive.
To make it greater.
If I'm making gold, then I gotta break it down and make it purer.
Refinement means to make in its natural state, pure form. Refinement, refine to its purest form, natural form.
Well, like you take a diamond, you remove the parts of the diamond to get to its purest part, right? To get to its.
That's not a positive.
Yeah, I mean,
ain't that improving it from that to that? You know what I'm saying? I can't sell it in the store with coal and all that stuff around it. I gotta refine it and then, you know what I mean?
The coupling, when we'll get to it, is that you can't do that because power is the truth, and you don't alter the truth. But I don't say power is the truth because of that, because the truth, power doesn't mean that. Power is a deliverance of something. It's the influence, the exertion of something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't see that either. I'm gonna continue video. We get to all of this though.
Where's the magnetic come from? It comes from the pure mathematics, not the mixed, diluted, and tampered.
So he's saying that refinement is mixed, diluted, and
Refine
tampered.
your power is mixed, diluted, and tampered. As Universal Sham God told you, it's a homosexual, really. But you take the 5-pointed seed and cultivate it. Right? So now, they ain't power no more. It's refined. This is illogical. And this is harmful. Why is it harmful? Because, let me tell you something. If mathematics was being properly applied as it should be since the year 1964, we would be doing a hell of a lot better. But when you take the refinement and you put it in the wrong fucking place, now you got people who should have had refinement in their culture, and that's why they look like savages, even though they know 120 their whole fucking life. I can't distinguish you from the goddamn wino in the gutter.
Yeah, see that doesn't apply to me because you know, like I'm not a wino.
I think me personally, this kind of happened to me after COVID and stuff like that. I come back to the school, right? A lot of my own students are like, I tell them, you don't have to come, you don't feel comfortable. Of course you come, God, because you're not taking no vaccine, you're good, you're 100, right? But I tell people, if you don't feel comfortable, we need this to be a safe space. So if you feel uncomfortable and you're worried about whatever, COVID, whatever, then it's okay, right? I want this to be a safe space, right? When I came here, the people that were here were all elders, though. That's who was here all the time, fixing it, cleaning it, just in case somebody comes. And they're braving whatever mystery COVID is out there, right? So maybe I became more endeared. But when he says stuff like that, it pisses me off. Because he wasn't here to say, you get out from doing drugs in the bathroom, you get out of here, you not return, right? He didn't do any of that. You know what I'm saying? Other people were doing it with me.
How many miles outside of the school?
You know, yeah, so to me it's Monday morning quarterbacking, and I don't want to hear it though. I don't want to hear it from anybody. If you have a problem with the school, then you come here and fix it. If Mecca is no good for you, then there's one in Medina that you could walk right in. Because I'm going to tell you this though, there's a different ruggedness from Medina. I'm from Medina, you're from Medina, God. I accept it and I love it and I feel it and I embrace it all my life. But
I was raised in Medina.
A lot of people are learning, my peers, they learn from elders from Medina and they think that they have that Medina toughness and they don't. Because they didn't go to Medina and fix it up. They couldn't even fix it up here. They couldn't even fix it up here. My classroom doesn't have drunkards. When my classroom happens for 24 years, there's no one doing crack in the bathroom. So someone got the message though that Thursday, throughout all these years, Thursday is not the day to do crack. Let's just say, right? What I'm saying here about refinement is this. And Magnetic knows, because I spoke to him. And since they want to do this stuff and say it out like that, I said, power refinement. I use it because mathematics is not a spell book. The Father did not discover, we shall change the universe with this mathematics that I have uncovered. And he conjured it up though. You know what I mean? And it's Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? All he did though was figure how it already was being done. How we, black men, are already creating it all. And so mathematics, first and foremost, if you really think about it, is a pedagogical tool for us to see how we are already doing it all and can continue to do it all even more precisely. So that means that this idea of mathematics being a teaching tool where you have the most difficult words, God being the most difficult, to be explained from mystery. But if we look at the second is power. Right? And for me as I teach it, it all goes with the history. I tell people, not everyone uses refinement. There's a reason. I tell the story. We go through Umah. I have issues with people even in the comments saying, and also from people in this video, justifying it where they say stuff like, Alabi wasn't right and exact. He didn't say these things correct. Umah wasn't a great teacher, and
He said he was slow.
He was slow, and he knew he was slow. And I'm like, these men never heard these charges when they were alive, though. And that doesn't mean that they can't get criticized. I'm not with that. I'm a historian, so I'm criticizing things that are long gone. But I was there when Umah was right in front of us, though, and I didn't hear any of that shit. I was there when Allah B was in front of us, though, and I didn't hear anything. What? I didn't hear anybody say, Umah, I don't like that you have refinement there. I was there when Umah told this story countless times of how refinement was put in there, and I didn't hear anybody say, that's not right and exact. I never heard anybody have the balls to step up and tell him that, to discourse and say why he had it, though. So I'm going to say this, though. The Father taught everyone differently, and at the time that he saw, he felt that they didn't have refinement, and you know that he wasn't talking about they didn't have culture. They knew who they were, they knew what they were, they had great power, and he was saying, you don't have refinement though. He means that you were blurting out your power, and it was just spraying everywhere like a fire. You know what I'm saying? Just like one time when firstborn Prince told me, he told me, God, the sun has lots of power. It could burn whole forests, but it also can warm people in a wonderfully on a beach. That means that you take your decision of how you deal with all people. You might have to scorch them, you might not have. So that means that power does have levels of refinement, meaning focus, like a light to a laser. You know what I mean? And this works because the Father was not out there yelling the black man is God. He never took a pulpit. He never got on a soapbox. He never recruited. He spoke to people and they got the knowledge, but he was watching them. We have books to show these stories from many of the elders, right? We were talking about that off air.
Well, also I want to add on to that because, you know, he was saying that the context of how Allah taught him and how Allah told Umah to add refinement. And he's trying to say that the context, Umah was slow. Well, right. Hold on, you weren't there.
Right.
You weren't there, but you're popularizing what somebody else said.
Listen, I always felt that I'm going to be real personal with this. Everything I felt Umah couldn't do was not because he was slow. It was because he never had the manpower that he tried to recruit. Mm-hmm. Let's not forget that nearly every single parliament, he was the one that was trying to recruit people to be on the law school of Mecca board. And I know because I was on it for years. When it was time to be on the board, I was the secretary. Siakil was the president. Daysun was the vice president, right? DJ Wise was on that board too. Y King was on that board. We were all on it though. I spent time, because as a secretary I had to write up these bylaws, so they gave me all the stuff I didn't want to do. Bylaws, so boring as hell. I had to spend time with Umah, analyzing, and him explaining to me what these bylaws meant, why they were written certain ways, all of that. God, he didn't sound slow to me because the stuff he was teaching me was stuff that I did not want, was not excited to learn about. So that means that he was showing me something that I didn't care for, but it was doing it for the nation, and yet I was learning it. So he didn't sound slow to me. But many of his things he tried to do, he was always outmanned. He never had the manpower that he wanted. He was always undermanned in the pursuits he had, and he failed in a lot of pursuits because he just didn't have the know-it-all to do everything. That's different.
But that doesn't have really much to do with the context of our refinement.
Yeah, and he was teaching at this school. He held classes at the last years of his life. He was teaching at this school on Mondays, I believe it was. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering how slow is somebody to do all that. He also is one of the elders that when they were doing the prep, when all the guys were getting the class prep to go to college, that this school was founded for. Right? Like Alim, Dumar, Umah was one of them. So he took those classes and ended up going to college because of that and has a college degree. So that's pretty fast for somebody that's slow. You know? So I'm just saying, like, that to me, I find it to be slanderous though. On any other means, because I disagree with it and no one's going to be able to defend that. You know? And I'm saying it as someone that I had disagreed with some of Umah's pedagogy. I did not teach it certain things the way he did. You know what I mean? In other words, like the pacing of 120 and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I did not teach it that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm a much slower teacher. You know what I mean? But I'm slow too, right? Tell me I'm slow, right? That right there.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.